Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Crafty Sue, and if you haven't been here before and you are now, welcome, welcome, welcome. Very happy to have you. So I had my second market last Friday, and it was at my grandson's school. Now they go to a charter school, and they are very common here in Florida. Lots of charter schools around here. And that school happens to run from kindergarten to 12th grade. So it was their Christmas event. And I think we were only 7 or 8 vendors at this event. But I think I was the second person there to set up. And when I walked through the doors, it was in the gymnasium. When I walked through the doors, they said you can set up any way you want up against the far wall across the other side of the gymnasium, because they had games and different things like that set up for kids to do, and food and stuff like that. So I looked and I walked straight from the door across the room, so that when people walked in the door and they looked across the room, they saw me and my plushies. That worked out really well, because I saw many people walk from the door right to my booth. So I did something right, So Grumpy and I got there. He was bringing all of the stuff in. We didn't have a lot of time to set up. They let us in at 5 o'clock and the event started at 6. So this one, I had a lot more room than the one I did previous to this one. This I had a 10 by 10 space, but it was more like a 12 by 12. We had plenty of room. And so I set up 2 6-foot tables. And it was hot in there. They hadn't turned the air conditioning on, and it was getting stuffy, and I was hot. I'll tell you, putting this stuff together and getting everything out of the bags and bending down, standing up, bending down, standing up. I should say, just a couple of hours before this market was to start, I fell. I fell when I came out of the shower. I slipped on the water and boom, I went down full force. So by the time I got to that market, I was hurting. Still hurting. But I didn't break a hip or anything, so that's a good thing. So finally got everything all set up, and actually sold 2 items before the market even opened, because the older kids in the upper grades were helpers or working at this event. So they were all coming over like crazy. And some came over like, I don't know, 20 times or more. Not that they bought things 20 times or more, but they were constantly coming back to the booth, because every time I sold something, I'd have to replace it with something. My hair looks terrible, I'm sorry. So there was always something new on the table. So they were always coming back to see. So before I start telling you about anything, I did remember to take a video of my setup. So I'll show that to you right now, and then I'll come back. I had a lot more room that time, a lot more room. So it was nice to be able to spread everything out, and still a little crowded, but I wanted to get as much stuff out there as I could. You're not going to sell it if people can't see it, right? Right. So I have to say, for the majority of my customers being teenagers, these kids were phenomenal. Phenomenal. Just the greatest group of kids. They were all very, very, very polite, very friendly, very complimentary. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There was this young man, and I wish I had taken his name, but I didn't. And he bought from me a couple of times. And at his last purchase, he purchased a sea turtle and my big red crab. And he had already purchased my s'more, I think. I'm not sure. But he came back and bought those two things. So he spent, like $50 at my booth. And he was wonderful. If you're watching, please leave a comment so I know your name. He signed up to my YouTube channel while he was there, and he showed me he signed up. What a sweet, sweet boy. And he just kept telling me how much he loved my work and how wonderful it was, and he enjoyed it so much. And I believe he bought something for a Christmas gift, maybe one of those giveaway things, Chinese auction or whatever you call those, where you swap things or pick a number and get something. I think he purchased one of them for that, and it just made my night. Just made my night. So this market started at 6 o'clock and ended at 8. So I only had 2 hours, which wasn't much time. And I totally went into this with no expectations. I had no idea what this would be like. Well, it turned out to be pretty good. Pretty good for me. My best market ever. It's not one of those $1,000 or $2,000 markets that you see in other videos. It was only 2 hours long. You can only do so much in 2 hours. And I did bring lots of small, inexpensive items for the kids. So let's get on with what I sold. I ended up selling 45 items. It's the most I've ever sold at a market. Mainly to the teenagers. I did have adults coming over and getting stuff, and I'll tell stories as we go. But the first order or items that were sold is a couple came over with their 2 little boys. I think they were twins. And one boy picked a bee and the other one picked an axolotl, which are 2 things that I've had forever. So that was good. They were $12 each, so that was a $24 order. That was good. And then I sold a mini turtle for $5. And then I sold a Christmas pickle for $10. Then I sold another Christmas pickle for $10. That was the adults buying the pickles. Then I sold another mini turtle for $5. And then I had my basket. I don't know if you saw it well in the little clip I played for you, but I had a big basket with clearance items, just things I've had for a long time, and I lowered the price. Before I left to go to that market, I marked down the prices even more just to try to sell these items that I've been holding on to. So I sold my donut pig. I had made this a long time ago, like a year ago, just because I thought it was funny. And someone finally bought it, and it was $8. I sold my last s'more for $10. And I believe it was that young man that I was talking about who bought that. Then I bought a Stingray. I sold a Stingray. And then I sold another Stingray. And then I sold another mini turtle. The Stingrays were $7 and the mini turtles were $5. Then a ladybug sold for $8. And a snap bracelet sold for $10. Then I had a bee, not the bumblebees, you know, the chubby little bumblebees, not that. I had one that stood up. I think it's adorable. I loved it from the moment I made it. But that sold for $14. Now here comes the story. Then I had a couple come with a little boy. I don't know if they were grandparents or parents. They looked a little old to be parents, but they could have been. I don't know. The little boy was probably around 6 years old. Oy, oy, oy. Well, he grabbed onto one of my dragons. My blue dragon, my beautiful, this one. I just happen to have it here because this just sold. So I have to ship this out. I love this dragon. I think it's my favorite. I love it. And it's because of this blue yarn. I love that yarn so much. But anyhow, he grabbed onto this and it was, if any of you who make plushies and go to market and the kids start picking up your stuff, and I don't mind if they touch them. And I don't even mind if they just squeeze them a little bit. But when they're all over the place and pulling on it and everything, oh, I finally went over and took it out of his hands and put it back on the table. I don't think anybody was too happy with me over that, but I don't care. I put a lot of work into that thing. And the mother took a look at the price, which was $65. And she put it back down. She goes, oh no, you're not getting that. That's way too much money. You're way too much money. And the kid is screaming and crying, and I want the dragon, and I want the blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, she's hanging out at the table, and she picks up my unicorn. If I have pictures, I'll post them along the way. I don't know what I have pictures of and what I don't, so whatever. If I have them, I'll put them up here, I think. So anyhow, she picked up the unicorn and she was going to purchase, I can't talk today, the unicorn, which was $26. Well, she was all bent out of shape about that too. Oh, that's a lot of money. Well, I'm not forcing you to buy anything. You're the one picking it up and telling me you want it. Oh, some people, honestly. They take what's wonderful time and can ruin it in just a couple of minutes. And a little boy is still screaming and hollering and blah, 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 blah. And I had two dragons on the table. I had the blue one on one end and I had the brown one on the other end. So she walks over to the brown one and the kid grabs it and I want the dragon. She looks at the price. That one was a little less. It was $55. And she goes, that's too much money. So she comes up to me and she says, can you give me the dragon for less money than that? So here we go. I said, no. She goes, no? And I said, no, that's the price. Why is it so much money? Because it takes me 2 or 3 days to make it, because I do not crochet consistently through the day. I have to stop. My hands start hurting. I stop. I don't want to wreck my hands. So it takes me a long time to make these things. Well, she didn't care. She said, well, do I still have that other one? And I says, it's here in a bag if you still want it. I hadn't taken any money from her yet. She goes, well, if I buy that and the dragon, how much will you charge me? I said, $55 for the dragon and $26 for the unicorn. You won't give me a discount? And I went, no, these are my prices. It made me nervous. It really made me a bit upset. I don't like confrontations like that. And you really just don't need that. You either want something or you don't. I don't think I overpriced my items, and Obviously, some people just don't know the work and time it takes to make these things. But long story short, she kind of huff and puffed and bought the 2 items anyway, so it was an $81 sale, which was wonderful. I was very happy with it. I hope he hasn't destroyed my dragon by now. I don't know. He was out of control. Out of control. Anyhow, then out of the clearance basket, I had a crayon I made a real long time ago. I had a full intention of making a whole bunch of crayons, all different colors, and making a little box to stand them in and selling a box of crayons. I never did it. So I had one yellow crayon. I sold that for $8. I sold a Yip Yip. Remember those Yip Yips? We were all making them, not selling them. They were not selling. And so I threw the few I had. I think I only made 3 of them. I ended up giving one away in an order that I made for someone. And I sold one on Friday. Somebody bought one of the Yip Yips for $6. And then I sold my pumpkin pie turtle. That's the one I had made up the design myself. I didn't follow. I think the base of it was probably all from Jade's pattern. And then the shell and the whipped cream and everything I did myself. And that sold for $14. So that was good. That was good. And then I sold out of the clearance basket a Mabel chicken. Yay! I've had these things forever. I really liked making them. And if you know me at all, you know I love chickens. So to have these Mabel chickens for a long time and not sell them, I was really disappointed because I think they're kind of cool. I like them. I like them a lot. But I finally sold one. I had lowered the price. They were all different sizes, so every one of them had a different price on it. But this was the smallest one, and it was $10. Then I sold another bee, the regular bees, for $12. And then I sold my one and only loaf cat. Only sold one for $15. And I sold another stingray for $7. And then I had a white cat, another white cat, and it was $18, and that sold. I had a lion that was kind of standing up, really cute. That's my glasses. Really cute. And he sold for $14. Then this little boy, before I tell you this, how do kids this young get credit cards? I was amazed at how many of these kids came over and had cards to use. Boy, things have changed since my kids were little, that's for sure. Because they were lucky to have $1 in their pocket, never mind a credit card to go and spend whatever they wanted to buy. But this little boy came over, and I have to see where I'm at here. Okay. Then this little boy came over, and I had a cow on the table. And it was really a cute cow. Really cute cow. I believe the only cow I had left. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have any cows now. And it was $32 for that cow. And he whipped out his little credit card and said, "You take cards?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "I want the cow." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "It's $32. He goes, "Yeah, I want the cow." Okay. I felt kind of bad. I don't know why. I should have been happy I sold a $32 item. But he was so young, you know, and I don't know. You could tell I'm not used to dealing with school kids selling plushies. But that was a nice sale, $32. Then I sold another Christmas pickle for $10. And then out of the clearance basket, Sold a little octopus for $8. And out of that basket again, another Mabel chicken for $12. I couldn't believe it. I had one loaf dog on my table. He sold for $14. Literally, just before we left to go to this market, I was finishing up a Pikachu because I'm making one for my great nephew for Christmas. And I finished it and I looked at it and I said, well, I have time to make another one if this one sells. So I threw it in a bag and brought it with me, and it sold for $22. So now I have to make another one. Now I have to make another one. And guess what? I sold my third Mabel chicken for $12. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I sold the possum keychain that was so popular at my other market for $8. And then that young man I told you about earlier bought a sea turtle and the crab, and that was $40. This sea turtle was a medium kind of size one. I have some that were like $25, but this one was $18, and the crab was $22. It was a big crab. So that was $40. And then out of the basket, another octo for $8. I sold Robin's dumpster fire for $15. I sold that to the lady who had the booth on the side of me. She came over and looked at it and said, I'm buying this. She said, this is perfect for a coworker. So that was good. That was good. And now we're getting close to 8 o'clock. We're getting close to 8 o'clock. She's starting to break down, and people are still coming to my booth. And this mother and daughter came over, and the daughter bought one of my breast cancer penguins. I hadn't put them out all night because I didn't think kids would be interested in anything like that. But then when I was selling so many items, Grumpy actually grabbed it and stuck it on the table, and it sold for $25. Crazy. Sold one of my little ghosts that I had made for Halloween, but didn't get to that market, for $10. I put, in that basket I had put odds and ends that I had, but I also put in all of my Halloween and some of my fall items that I didn't get to sell because the hurricane canceling our big market in October. So after the ghost, sold another Christmas pickle for $10. Then I sold another Christmas pickle for $10. It's crazy. And then I sold a smaller turtle, sea turtle, for $16. I sold one of my gnomes I had made quite a while ago. I don't know if you remember them, but I had done them. I think I had made 5 of them or so in different colors. I sold one, I think it was red, white, and blue one, for $14. And I sold a little rubber duck for $8. So that was my sales. That was the last sale, that rubber duck. I felt bad because one girl had come over and she wanted, I had one little possum on the table, and she wanted that possum, and it was $8. And she wanted to pay with a card. And I put the possum in a bag for her and got it all ready, took the card and went to charge it, and the card was declined. It broke my heart. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. But I didn't give it away. And I don't know, maybe there's a lesson learned in there someplace for her on spending. And I don't know if she bought other things. I don't think a lot of the stuff, I didn't even have a chance to walk around, honestly. I did not have a chance to walk around. The gentleman on the side of me was selling beautiful woodwork stuff, but kids aren't going to buy that. And the lady on the side of me that bought the dumpster fire, her daughter, I think, is the one who bought the Pikachu. And then she bought the dumpster fire. She was selling the mesh wreaths. I don't know if she sold any of them. And then I don't know what the other booths were because they were too far away for me to see. And I just didn't have time. I just didn't have time. At one point, my son came with my 2 grandsons, since they go to school there. And he came right at the right time because I must have had at least 10 people at the table. And everybody's grabbing this, that, this, and that. And it was really making me nervous. I had to yell at Grumpy and say, get up and watch that side of the table. Because I had like, well, you've seen in the video, I had one table across the front and then one down the side. And Grumpy was sitting down towards the side. And I was standing up most of the time at that front table. And it was like everybody was buying something. So my son does markets all the time with his wife. So he knew what to do, and he was taking the orders and putting them aside if I had to do square, and he probably even put something on the square because I had it in front of us. So whatever. But it got crazy. It really, really got crazy. So my total for the total for the night, 2 hours, was $583. I was thrilled. I was thrilled. Just before the last Zoom of people who came to the booth, I was short just a little bit to hit $500. I mean, I was already at a point that I had made more than I've ever made at any other market. But I was hoping to hit that $500 mark. But then all of a sudden I got all these sales right at the end. I think we even went past 8 o'clock a little bit, which they probably weren't happy about, but I had to check out these people. And then we ended up with $583. So that was incredible. My square fee was $9.17. My booth fee, $0. I did not have a booth fee. Amazing. Amazing. So my total after square was $573.83. Now, of course, this is not accounting for time and yarn and eyes and all of that kind of stuff. But I was thrilled. Thrilled. Oh my gosh. That was so much fun, but so much work. I was so tired. About 45 minutes after we were there, they finally smartened up and turned the air conditioning on, which was wonderful. I could breathe again. I was just so hot. Well, I went and I had jeans on and I had like a sweatshirt almost because it's been cold here. And I thought it would be cold there. I was wrong. It was warm and I had sneakers on and I hate wearing sneakers. I'm a flip-flop girl. So I was dying. So now I'll learn from now on if it's wintertime and it's indoors and I wear longer sleeves or jeans, I'm bringing capris and a short sleeve shirt with me in case I'm overheated so I can change. Lesson learned, Sue, lesson learned. So my best sellers, and some of them I ran out of. My best seller of the night were my Christmas pickles. I made 5 of them. I sold 5 of them. I'm out of Christmas pickles. Then I had 3 mini turtles left. I sold all of those. I'm out of mini turtles. Stingrays, I had 3. I sold 3. And all my Mabel chickens sold 3. So my best seller was the Christmas pickles at 5. And the mini turtles, stingrays, and Mabel chickens were all 3. And that was my night. It was crazy, 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 crazy. I had such a good time. I had such a good time, not because of the sales, but at how amazing these kids were. They were just awesome. Just awesome. I had such a good time with them. 2 girls, the daughter from the lady on the side of me and her friend, were always over at my table. Always, always, always. They'd go off for a few minutes and then they'd be back. And they loved digging through the basket and digging through the basket. I had one, as far as I know, I had one axolotl stolen again. What is it with the axolotls? So my son suggested that I put the bigger items on the front of the table and the smaller items back a little bit so that I can keep a better eye on them. I don't know. I'll have to try that if I have another market, because I have nothing planned for the future. But now I can do whatever I want. Whatever I want. I've done 2 tests for 2 different people that I've never tested for before. So those are done. And all of my Christmas orders are done. The last one went out in the mail Monday. And oh, that was such a relief to have all those done, because everything in all of those orders were big items. I'm going to try to do a video on Friday, and that big order that I had that I sent out last week sometime, I think. I did a video of everything that I put in that order so you could see it, because I knew I wouldn't be able to show it to you. And then the other 2, I don't remember if I took pictures of. I'll have to look and see. But I'll show them to you on Friday. I'll show you the makes that I've done, which happen to be tests. Hopefully I'll have another Pikachu made that I can show you. And we'll see. Right now I'm making tiny little corns for keychains for someone. You never know. You never know. You get these big giant things and you get little bitty things. So that's my market. I am so happy with how that went. So happy. Actually, I want to send the coordinator a note thanking her for allowing me to be a vendor there, because it was just great. And again, it wasn't just the sales. It was the kids. Boys and girls alike. Boys and girls alike. I did not have a single teenager come and be, I don't know, kind of think teenagers are snotty in a way, right? No, they weren't. They were wonderful kids. Wonderful, wonderful kids. Made my night. That made my night. Didn't hurt with the money, because I haven't done anything in a real long time, so this will help with all the yarn I've been buying. And now I can make some new stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, everyone. That's my market story, and I'm sticking to it. And hopefully Friday I'll be back to show you some things, and we'll take it from there. So have a very good rest of your week. And until next time, keep crocheting. Bye. I forgot one little thing. I actually took a video of my tables after we were finished. So I'll click that in here, and we'll just end the video this way. Okay? Seems appropriate to end it with what the table looked like at the end, right? Talk to you later.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring it out here. The tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For we all like figgy pudding. For we all like figgy pudding. For we all